Hi Cancer, my lunar brothers and sisters, welcome to your April 2025 AstroTarot with me, Raphael. So April is feeling like a much needed breather for you, especially after the emotional highs and lows of the month. This is definitely, after March, this is definitely a gentler energy to really recalibrate and focus on nurturing yourself, on your longer term plans. Now, although it is a quieter month, and the transits of the month, in a lot of ways, I think for you especially, they are inviting healing, self reflection, and laying solid foundations for the future in some regard. With that said, I am Raphael. I am an astrologer, tarot reader, numerologist, energy worker, for those of you that don't know. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. Now, with that said, I also want to say, whenever I'm talking about astrology, it is whole sign tropical Western astrology. If I ever don't give you the degrees or the dates, you'll always be able to find that stuff in the links in the description box below. With that said, if you are only going to watch one of these, make it for your ascendant. It's going to be that much more accurate for you on that day-to-day level. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, I'm going to pop these to the side. These will be for your lunations, and these will be for, that's there as we start the month. So the first thing that I want to explore for you is on the 11th of April. This transit actually does start on the 9th, but when it starts to apply, but it won't be done until like the 11th or the 12th, right? So around this period of the month, Mercury is going to come into a conjunction. Mercury is going to come into a conjunction with Saturn, right? So, and we've had all of these guys, Mercury's, Venus, and Saturn and the North Node all hanging out in Pisces, right? It's been like a party up in there. Okay, all right. So this party in the sign of Pisces for you is happening in your ninth house. The now in let me just move this. All right, so this is so that you can see the board properly. All right, without my muggins in the way. This alignment, so for you, this is taking place in the ninth house, right? Mercury for you rules your 12th house, your past, your privacy, your hidden self, but also your spiritual wisdom, understanding, and depth. It also rules your psyche and your self-sabotaging tendencies. Mercury also for you rules your third house of communications, conversations, and the mind. This is one of the reasons, or certainly in my humble opinion, I think this is one of the reasons that the moon and Mercury are such good friends, because your third house is mercurial and your liminal space is mercurial as well. So this is all happening in your ninth house of expansion, travel, higher learning, and it's bringing a fated conversation or even a realization of some sort that really helps broaden your horizons. Now, Mercury ruling your 12th house of your subconscious and your third house of communications and also your mind, it's bringing an intuitive insight into this, or intuitive messages that can help really take you or steer you towards a brand new sort of perspective. And I wouldn't be surprised if a conversation with a grandparent, a conversation with a teacher or a mentor, somebody who is likely older, Saturn, that you have a conversation with Mercury in the ninth house that you look up to or see as a guide or a coach or a guru of some sort. This is somebody that can really help assist you to see something in a way that really helps you broaden your perspective in in some regard, in some area of your life. You might find yourself considering things like new educational opportunities or taking something, learning something at a higher level. Maybe you're thinking about about some kind of long distance travel or trip, or even exploring a spiritual or philosophical retreat of some sort that feels like it's a part of your destiny. Now we say that because the North Node is in Pisces at the moment, but also because Mercury rules this 12th house. The 12th house represents things like ashrams, retreats, anywhere that provides us with like a anywhere that provides us with a hermit-like energy, basically. You know, like the Hermit card in tarot. That's a 12th house energy. It's also a very Virgo energy. And in the ninth house here, this could be where you literally pull away from the world to take a trip or a journey of some sort that feeds or nourishes you on a soul level, and you're having a conversation with somebody that you look up to. The ninth house is also grandparents as well, which is why I say like it could be a conversation with a grandparent or someone that feels like one, because all of this is in Pisces, and it has a visionary quality because it's in the ninth house, and a spiritual quality because it's about your belief and meaning, and you know, it's all happening with that North Node energy. It does make me wonder as well if this is maybe like a dream or a vision of a loved one long past who comes to you and gives you some kind of really powerful information. Pay attention to the advice or the information that you're getting from your mentors, from your teachers, maybe even like just older strangers that you bump into that, like, I'm sure you guys have all had this experience at least once, right? You go somewhere, you bump into someone, they drop some like insane, incredible knowledge, and then they're gone and you never see them again. You just think to yourself like, wow, did the universe put that person on my path? It's a really good time for you to share your own wisdom with others, right? Your own vision, your own sort of intuitive or otherwise insights, right? If you've been thinking about teaching, remember the ninth house is also publishing, reaching large groups of people, large swathes of the public, expanding your reach in some way. This transit could really help you provide the inspiration or the opportunity to do that at this moment in time. Now, for this, I know I've spent a long time on this one, but it seems to be important, so all right, you've got the Six of Swords, you've got the Judgment card, wow, and you've got the Tower card. So this is some kind of spontaneous travel that will show up very quickly. This will be where you potentially don't even, you know, you might not be thinking anything about it, and then it's like someone maybe from your past, potentially, because you've got the Judgment card, or a surprise, right? The Tower with the Judgment card. This could be that you really do have to act on something very quickly. It's like it comes up really suddenly. Maybe you get a phone call or a communication from one of your parents or from one of your grandparents, and they say, look, we really need you to come, and we really need you to come now, right? That's the sort of heavier end of the spectrum. It could also be that some opportunity to travel or journey in some way could literally just arise for you, right? Like this could come up at this time and you're like, oh, okay, like, well, you know, I didn't have any plans to take this trip or this journey, but now that it's here and it's presented to me, I think I'm gonna go, right? Something to consider, as I say, the feeling is that this will come up sort of very suddenly, just because the Tower's involved, and with the Judgment card being a blast from the past kind of energy, or the kind of energy that also happens sort of, you know, in a way that you don't expect. You do have sort of a double hit of this. We're talking about a travel house, the ninth house, and we're talking about the Six of Swords, which is a travel card. So very, very possible. So the next transit that I want to talk about is on the 12th. The Sun is going to conjunct Chiron. Now, I don't have a Chiron glyph here, but this is happening in your 10th house of career, your social status, public status, the most visible part of you. Chiron in the 10th house, it's kind of like your wounds are on display and you feel somewhat sort of raw or exposed, and here's Raph sort of casually just airing your business. This is my moon sign as well, so before you trash me in the comments, the Sun for you is the ruler of your second house, of your money, finances, resources, but also your self-worth and self-value. Now, this could be highlighting any wounds that you might carry around your professional identity or feelings of insecurity or inadequacy as it comes to your career. You might be able to really address this now, right? Especially with the conjunction to Chiron, the sun is bringing illumination, right? Sort of saying, look, actually, you know what? They had it right on the advert. You are worth it. I am worth it. I am worthy just by being who I am. And then in this conjunction to Chiron, it's like you realize where this wound is, and more importantly, what it is that you need to do to fix it. And even if that has to be sort of in the public eye, it's like, okay, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to have to do this while everybody stares and watches, but it is what it is. um Deep joy. So for this, you've got the Hanged Man, you've got the Two of Pentacles, and you've got the Four of Pentacles. So not only is this in a very practical sense, you know, or should I say in a very public sense, but it's also in a very practical sense as well, which tells me that on a financial level, this is really the way through. Like if you're looking for a financial breakthrough at this moment in time, it really has to be that you find your courage to do something on a career level that maybe you wouldn't usually do. This is like one of those times where you have to blow your own trumpet, where you have to promote yourself, where you have to put yourself forward because you believe so strongly in whatever it is that you're doing. It could be a moment where you're having to address your fears and your insecurities about your role in the world, about your what you believe to be your purpose or your legacy. And maybe healing these wounds comes through recognition of your talents. Somebody stepping in, and it's like, you know, maybe somebody comes in and says like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely incredible, this thing that you've made or that you've done. And it sees you kind of really being able to step into your power and take ownership of the things that you've already accomplished, right? Before you even start doing anything new, it's like, wow, okay, yeah, actually, let me take a moment and acknowledge everything that I've done up until this point, right? Up until, what's brought me to this moment in time, let's say. Love that. All right, the third one that I want to explore is on the 15th of the month, there is a grand water trine across your first, your fifth, and your ninth houses. These are all self-orientated energies or houses. They very much focus on you. The first house is your body, right? Your outlook, your personality, how the world sees you when it first connects to you. Your fifth house is your self-expression and your creativity and your joy and your pleasure. And the ninth house is your mind, right? So in all senses, this grand water trine is really about bringing a much more harmonious emotional energy to you, right? It's helping you really get a greater handle and sense of and on yourself. And, you know, really some of the most personal and expansive areas of your chart. The fifth house and the ninth house are two of, if not the luckiest spaces in the chart as well. So that's really nice. And this is helping you find a beautiful flowing energy of self-expression, creativity, and beliefs. Now, I don't usually use the moon in these predictions or in these videos because it's such a fleeting transit. But with such a strong grand water trine, and also because Lunar is in Scorpio, Mars is in the sign of Cancer, these two are in mutual reception in a trine to Saturn, right? Mars trine Saturn, you've heard me bang on about this for weeks, is one of my favorite transits because it's like real emotional fortitude, right? It's a strong internal energy that allows us to really get stuff done by the sheer force of our will on that internal level. Mars is lighting up that Scorpio space of your fifth house of joy, love, passion, entrepreneurial ventures. Mars is bringing energy and passion and excitation to you, your first house. It's direct now, having gone retrograde, so it's helped you get rid of all of the stuff that you didn't want or need to carry and get rid of that. And now that it's moving forward in this trine as well to Saturn, the cluster of planets and energies that you have, right? Saturn, Venus, Mercury, and the North Node, all in that Pisces area, and for your ninth house, which is activating your higher learning, your adventure, and also the ability to see a bigger picture. This is a time for inspiration and emotional clarity. It's a time that you might feel like a greater or renewed sense of confidence in expressing yourself, pursuing your creative energies or projects as well. Your emotions and your strength right now are really, Cancer, they are trust your intuition and truthfully let it carry you forward, and truthfully speaking, listen to your body. This alignment is really encouraging you to think big, think outside the box. If you've been holding back or chasing a dream of some kind, this trine is really supporting you in taking like a big leap of faith in some regard. For this, you've got the Queen of Swords. Be prepared, willing and able to fight for the opportunities that are about to show up for you. And with the Five of Swords, you will have competition. There's no getting around this, right? Whatever opportunities are showing up for you now, yes, they are absolutely for you, but that doesn't mean that there won't be competition. It doesn't mean that there won't be someone or people around you that are kind of like, actually, I think I'm going to get me a little bit of that. And you're kind of like, no, this is mine, right? This is for me. The other thing that shows up here as well, because with the Queen of Swords, this being about what we fight for, right? Fighting for the Wheel of Fortune, the opportunity. But with the Five of Swords, it's almost like you're kind of seeing things now to say like, oh, okay, well, I understand who is okay or happy with me when I'm not in a good space, but when things are great for me, maybe you're not as happy for me. Watch out for that. All right. On the 18th of April, Mars re-enters the sign of Leo, finally moving out of your sign into a fire sign where it's more comfortable, in the sign of Leo, in your second house of money, finances and resources. I actually like Mars in the second. It does get a bad rap, but I actually like Mars in the second for helping you generate more money to bring more finances and resources in. So that's really nice. It's the second house of values and self-worth, and it brings a fiery, action orientated energy to your finances. You might actually feel motivated at this time to tackle any financial goals, to seek a new financial opportunity of some kind. Remember, Mars for you rules your 10th house of your career, but it also rules your 5th house of your speculative endeavors. So you might feel really proactive about creating a more sort of long-term financial security for yourself, or maybe taking action on ideas that potentially boost your resources. Mars ruling the 5th and the 10th, it's like your efforts to increase your income might come from a creative venture or even like a professional opportunity of some sort. And then Mars in Leo is potentially as well is bringing some kind of impatience or a tendency to overspend. So just be careful about your financial decisions at the moment. Use this to focus on building that long-term stability rather than chasing like quick fixes. All right, like this is the thing that I want you to really focus on, and the idea for that may come when that grand trine kicks into action. All right, so keep that as a consideration. And then for this, you've got the Queen of Cups, so you show up in your reading very strongly. Love that. Wow, with the Sun card, okay, and the King of Swords. This is it's not just a financial opportunity. This is some kind of knowledge, wisdom, or expertise that you already have now becomes really helpful to you in some regard. It's like you have a what's the word that I'm looking for? Like maybe you, because the King of Swords is about your expertise, and with the Sun card, it's like maybe you're getting seen or noticed for something that you really have put your heart and soul into, and it could start doing really, really well here. And almost, I don't want to say immediately, but definitely over the course of the 6 weeks that Mars moves through Leo, you really start to see your financial sort of endeavors and things start to pick up. I will just say the only thing that I want you to be mindful of is remember that obviously with Mars in the second, it can induce sort of more impulsivity when it comes to finances. So just keep that in mind as well. But look, you've got the Sun card here, so you're protected. Okay, and then finally, on the 21st of the month, Venus is going to conjunct Saturn, is going to conjunct the North Node. That is also in your ninth house, right? So you've had this massive sort of party hanging out in your ninth house anyway. This is rare for so many reasons. Partially because obviously Saturn takes 30 years to travel the zodiac, Venus takes 19 months, and the North Node takes, oh, excuse me, takes 19 years. So this is a pretty big deal, right? It's an expansion of learning and travel, and it signals an important moment of restructuring your commitment, especially when it comes to this ninth house, right? And all matters therein. This, I would not be surprised, because Venus for you rules your 11th house. Venus for you also rules your 4th house. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some kind of home or property matter that sort of comes to light, not necessarily as a problem, but just as something that's going to take you longer to sort of see through to completion. With the energy of Venus ruling the 11th house in the ninth house, this could be that there's something that you're working on with a friend, or maybe even in your wider network, that has like a fated sort of feel. It like takes you in a direction that could be really very important for you, or potentially even opens up a new avenue. I feel like this, more than the one with Mercury, is going to be something about school or learning, or it kind of sees you saying, yeah, you know what, I think this is the time for me to maybe do some course of study, especially around home or property or real estate, something along those lines. Maybe with the 11th house, this is around social media or harmonizing or beautifying things as well. That North Node bringing a fated sort of quality to this, and a lot like bringing a greater sense of alignment as well, actually. It suggests that you're getting like the decisions that you're sort of making at this moment in time, they're having this kind of long-term impact on your growth, and maybe even your perspective, or your outstanding like your not outstanding, what's the word that I'm looking for, your like your wider world view, like your perspective. It's like your understanding of the world and your perspective are seeing like a greater sort of, or you're seeing them in a greater sense. Opening up to new ways of doing things, new philosophies, new ideas, taking a leap of faith on a dream, or building something, especially with far reaching potential. This is kind of like one of those times where it's like whatever foundations you're laying, you're doing it for something meaningful, something for the future. You got this with the Ten of Wands, you got this with the Ten of Cups. Wow. And this with the Six of Cups. So Six of Cups is memory lane, right? Certainly in like a nostalgic sort of sense. But with the Ten of Cups, this could be a return to a home that you've been to previously. That's very possible. It could also be that you are oh gosh, come on brain. Because you got this with the two with the Ten of Wands, it's possible that for some of you this might actually be about either a change of location or the enhancement of a current living situation. And it could also be with the Six of Cups that maybe this is something that you've either wanted to do for a long time, or you end up going back to. For some of you, this could be that you go back to a place that you've already lived in, or yeah, like a place that you've already lived in previously. It's a really interesting combination. That two tens also represents change, which means there will be a change on the home front, and there will also be a change on the uh, friendship front. And it's like maybe how you view something, maybe the emotions that you have around a friendship, or maybe the emotions that you have around your long-term goals when it comes to your living situation, could be activated at this time. And it could all have something to do with a partner, or a business partner as well. Okay, on the 13th of the month, we have the full moon in the sign of Libra. So you've got a full moon in your fourth house. So this is where you're going to be seeing your home, property, living situation, like where you live, how you live there, all the rest of it. You're going to be seeing it in a very stark, sort of clear way. There'll be no guessing at this time. You won't need to guess because you will have sort of total clarity on it. And for this, you've got the gate 43 in the head. This is basically to say that whatever you're seeing at this time, you are glimpsing the future. So this is one of those moments where, like, you know, when you go to view a house. So this happened to me recently. Obviously, as many of you know, I recently bought a house last year. And at the time of buying it, I was like, wow, okay, this place needs a lot of work. But I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at what I would do with it, right? You look beyond the current aesthetic because you know that you're going to turn it into your own home. Well, this is one of those times where you're going to see your home or your living situation very clearly, and you will understand immediately whether you are or are not in for this, and whether you can or whether you can't make it work, right? Like, it will be a moment of real sort of pure clarity. And then on the 27th of the month, we've got the new moon in the sign of Taurus in your 11th house. Potentially a time of restarting or going down the avenue of making your long-term goals, aspirations and visions for the future a reality. Maybe even starting to connect with new friendship groups, or go in a new direction with your work or your business, or starting to reap the monetary or financial rewards from the business that you already have. Either which way, I love a Taurus new moon because it's like whatever you plant at that time, it is usually slow to come, but it's like it really does show up for you in a big way. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. If you want to book a personal session with me, you know what to do. Hit the links in the description box below. Take care, and I'll see you soon.